We are back for the second video in our series on finding outstanding eyeshadow shades based on your eye color and the color wheel. This week we're talking about blue eyes and gray eyes. And if you think you've heard it all before, I guarantee you haven't. We're going to talk about complementary colors, analogous colors, trends that come and go, as well as your color family, the what is it called? Seasons, your seasonal color. So don't go anywhere. I'm Michelle Fox from Michelle Fox Beauty and MichelleFoxOnline.com. If you've not yet subscribed to my channel, please, before we do anything else, just take a hot second and hit the subscribe button because I am on a mission to get to 10,000 subscribers. It opens up more ways for me to serve you better. So that is the next goal for this channel. So thanks so much for being here. If we're new to one another, I'm so happy to meet you. Last week we had a lot of fun talking about brown and amber eyes. Brown being the most common color and amber being the rarest. And I also showed you some beautiful palettes. So if you missed that, you want to go back and watch that one as well. But this week it's all about blue eyes and gray eyes. So we'll start with blue. I'm fully aware that blue eyes can be such a wide range. There's icy light blue, there is gray blue, blue green, blue hazel. I get that. But what's cool is that once you understand how to look at the color chart in terms of what is going to complement your eye color, you'll see how depending on the hue that you can adjust where you land on the color wheel. Okay, I will show you that in a second. But blue on the color wheel is right across from orange. And so you've probably heard a million times that you should wear coppers, burnt sienna, orangey type colors like that. That is definitely true. And I'm going to show you some gorgeous examples of that. So if you feel like, oh, ho hum, I've heard it all before, maybe you just haven't found the right palette to get inspired because they really can be absolutely stunning on blue eyes. Also, just very simple, earthy shades of brown, which I know, again, sound so dull, but those are my favorite. I wear matte browns. Talk about dull. But for me, they are just really easy to, play up my eyes, the way that I want to. And it can really, the thing of it is that you don't want people to say, wow, that's really pretty eyeshadow. You want them to notice your eyes. You want them to say, wow, you just look especially beautiful today. And that's where eyeshadow doesn't have to be center stage all the time, but you can subtly use colors to make your eyes pop. And it doesn't have to be bright, crazy colors. So, blue eyes, just the fact that they're blue already, you got something going on. I think everybody wants blue eyes. But another thing that I want to point out is that contrary to popular belief, blue-eyed people can wear blue eyeshadow. Think of this. When I see someone with blue eyes and they've got a top on that is like a similar hue to their eyes, I almost always say something like, oh my gosh, that really makes your eyes pop. That really makes the blue of your eyes really, come to life. That is such a good color for you. So why can't we apply that same thought to our makeup? We can. All right. And I'll show you some examples of that too. This is going to be so much fun. And as always, when we get through the examples, I'm going to give you some very specific brands, makeup brands and palettes so that you can just right away go shopping. So I'm going to throw some things on the screen for us to look at while we're talking. All right. So when it comes to eyeshadow, there are a couple of different schools of thought. You can use a complementary color, which we just talked about, that's across the color wheel from you. And so that would be, in the oranges. You can also use analogous colors, which are on either side of the color wheel. So for those of you who have more blue-green eyes, you could see that that's across from burgundy. If your eyes are more like a violet, like Elizabeth Taylor, you are going to look fantastic in a green. So having the color chart handy is really pretty cool. But what we're going to mostly focus on are analogous and complementary. So get excited. So here are some examples of beautiful golds and coppers and just a bright yellow. You can see these are all different shades of blue, and yet that blue just really is illuminated by that coppery color. It's so gorgeous. Like I said, blue eyes can also wear blue eyeshadow. Are these not stunning? I mean, uh, these are probably my favorite. These, and then I'm going to show you when we get to gray. I've got some favorites there, but these are my favorite pictures of blue-eyed women. I just think you can't help but do a double take. It's just so beautiful. But like I said, you can also go toward purples, or you can go toward greens, burgundies, and then here we've got just a traditional smoky eye. So many options. So bottom line, you need to find what makes you feel beautiful. So let's talk about that for a moment. um, Trends come and go for sure. For a long time, blue was not considered cool at all, and now it's kind of having a heyday. So when it comes to eyeshadow color, it really has to be something that makes you feel lit from within, that makes you feel beautiful and confident. And so there are suggestions, but they're not meant to be rules. So if you feel like I don't even know where to begin, you've got blue eyes. These are some great suggestions. I'm going to show you some gorgeous palettes. But if you feel like I really like how I look in moss green, then wear moss green by all means. And if you are wondering about your seasonal colors, because this comes up a lot. So let's say you are blue eyed and you have light skin that leans cool, and there, the color chart is saying that you should wear orange. It does not compute. And so I talked to a color analyst, and she said that for your highlight color and your midtone, your lightest and your medium shades, to stick with your undertone. So in that case, blue eyes with a pinkish, cool undertone, you would have cool whites, or even something with a little bit of a pink hue to it, really light browns that are a cool undertone for your highlight and your midtone. But then with your accent color, you can use a pop of color and go with your complementary color, which would be like a copper or gold or burnt orange or something like that. Try it. If you don't like it, try something else. Okay. That's the beauty of makeup. You can put it on and wash it off and do it all over again, right? So some examples of what I mean by in the orange color family: warm peach or a soft coral, warm brown or bronze, gold or amber, copper and rust. You can even lean toward rose gold, which then kind of brings you into a whole new realm of pinks and lavenders. Terracotta is really beautiful on blue eyes. Champagne is a beautiful shimmer color for blue eyes. And I can't wait to show you some examples. So let's jump in. Let's talk about some palettes for blue eyes that are going to be absolutely stunning. If you are looking for some colors to play with, Urban Decay Naked there are so many different interpretations of the Naked palette now, but there's one called Heat that has just beautiful rusts, just a beautiful palette for blue eyes. And a similar one is Tartlet in Toasted. Tartlet also has several different versions, but Toasted would be a great palette for blue eyes. It has all of those colors that we just mentioned. Now, these are a couple of unique ones that I really lean toward. So I love Morphe. Morphe 35XO Natural Flirt. What I like here is that, we mentioned the corals and the peach, and also the rose gold and pinks and burgundies. So it's just got like such a lovely combination, or a lovely collection, has a lovely collection of those shades. So if you want something kind of beyond just the coppers and the burnt orange, I think that this would be a really fun palette to play with. And then the last one that I'm mentioning for blue eyes today is Charlotte Tilbury's Denim Dimension. This is limited edition. And so there's a good thing and a bad thing about it. One good thing is that I've noticed that some sites have it marked down because, limited edition, it's there for a little while, then it's gone and on to the next. So it must be kind of nearing the end of its, time. So you can get a really good price for it. But I love this palette. I just had to include it. I love the variety of blues. There's really cool, a cool tone blue, and then, sort of a softer blue. And I just love it. There's just so many options here. I think it would be so much fun to work with. So let's talk about gray eyes for a second. Gray eyes also can be, gray blue or sort of a gray green, even, or gray brown. I've seen, quite a variety. And one thing that I thought of recently is that gray is not actually on the color chart per se. Gray is something that you add to a color to create a different tone or a different hue. So, in a sense, gray is everywhere on the color chart. So, in the same way that brown eyes can wear just about anything because they're neutral, I'm thinking that gray eyes could probably get away with a whole lot of different colors. So, again, if you have a favorite color, it's not wrong. You're not wrong. But in general, there are some colors that really bring out gray eyes, and they tend to be in the cool realm. So, silvers and grays and charcoal, icy lavenders, maybe a navy blue. There's something about that cool, crisp look next to your gray eyes that make them look just like even more, more gray. So here is a representation of the colors that many suggest look great with gray eyes. Anything in this cool realm. But I was pointing out that just like how there's black all the way around the outside and there's white in the core, gray is basically present throughout the entire color wheel. So I would be curious to see what you could come up with, or let me know in the comments what you like to wear as a gray-eyed person. I think that would just be a lot of fun. But here are some of my faves. I do think that silvers and white and just metallics can just really, really bring out gray eyes. And these are different shades of gray. This one has a really, a very prevalent ring around the iris. This one is very light, almost like a blue gray. This is like a charcoal gray almost. So, there are different types of gray eyes, and it's going to be so much fun for you to experiment with these shades. Here's this one got its own page because I just thought it was so pretty. But this gray even has like a little bit of green in it, but that silver still looks amazing. So these are the shades that you see primarily recommended for gray-eyed people. It's going to be charcoal, slate gray, grayish, maybe taupe or navy, deep plum, silver, but also mauve, lilac, and even something like a forest green can be a really fun surprise for gray eyes. So look at this with the burgundy. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. So sort of like a rose gold and a burgundy and maybe a champagne shimmer. And then here are some other pops of color. Why not try it with the blues and the purples? And then this is just like all kinds of metallics. There's some earthy, maybe like a terracotta, black liner. So you're not limited by any means. Some beautiful palettes that I have found. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about these. Lorac Pro Palette Noir. Are these gorgeous or what? I mean, those I'm just like, oh my goodness, those are so pretty. The only thing I think is kind of missing is you might need a couple of just subtle mid-tones in there because you've got all the pizzazz. You've definitely got your darker colors that you could line with. This could be your highlight. But as far as your mid-tone, you're kind of limited to this one. So you'd want to add a couple of mid-tones. But I just love these options, every different kind of shimmer to bring out your gray eyes. Similarly, ColourPop Stone Cold Fox. This has all of the grays and charcoals and a few more options for your mid-tone, including sort of rosy undertones. I think that would just be gorgeous. I personally love plums on gray eyes. So I think you cannot go wrong with that palette right there, Color Pop. A couple more that I love, MAC Encrypted Kryptonite. Same idea, but there's only 6 colors right here, but there's 6 winners, just with the pinks and the deep chocolate brown, charcoal, and coal. I think that would just look absolutely stunning. And like I said, I love purple on gray eyes. And so this I thought was a really nice mix where you've got, some colors to kind of ground you, but then you've also got these fun shimmers. NARS Afterglow Tempting is this eyeshadow palette. And I just think it's absolutely stunning. So I kind of feel like I was all over the place saying, these are great, but you can wear anything. I do think in general that blue eyes look amazing in those bronzy, coppery, gold type shimmers. And if you haven't found one yet that you love, maybe try a different palette with those shades just to double check, because I just really do think that's stunning. But blue eyes can wear blue, and blue eyes can wear a whole nice variety of greens and purples. So it really depends on your personal preference. Always, what you feel beautiful in is the one. Gray eyes, it might seem too simple, but silvers and charcoals and grays look beautiful on gray eyes. If you want some color, I love purples. You could probably try just about anything, and I would love to hear in the comments what you have tried and what you think looks great with your gray eyes. So next week we're going to talk about green and hazel. So I hope that you will join me again. If you have not yet subscribed, take a moment to subscribe so that you don't miss when that one drops. And I would love to hear in the comments what you've learned, what you want to contribute. If you have a favorite palette, for sure, let us know about it. I have a very cool free resource called Make Your Eyes Pop. And you can get that by clicking the link in the description of the video on YouTube. Right within the freebie itself, if you're looking at it online, you can click and go straight to the sites where you can shop for these palettes. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for you to give something new a try. I would love to see pictures if you would care to share, but for sure, comment, let me know what you're trying, what you're loving, what you're thinking. And remember to join me next week when we talk about green and hazel eyes. I'll see you then.